Dun, dun, dun. And presented by Sleeper, welcome to Light Years, Andy Liu. For the first time, I can say, it feels like a little bit of a different Warriors team right now. Feels just a little different. Big win, 122-114 against the Sacramento Kings. And, not a perfect game. Down the stretch, got a little tight there, got a little nervous, didn't love every run. They're up double digits. And if this was last year's team, like you kind of thought they were after game one, let's be honest, what we've watched for 15 months in a row or so, that 11 would have turned to 20 real quick. And no, not that team. Dug back into it, got the lead at halftime, took over in the third. It could do a little better in the fourth, but you know what? Give an A- effort.
Won the game, right? Remember last season? Remember some of the brutal choke jobs on the road they had last season? So
many. Too many to choose from.
And it got worse as the season got along. So that was that was an A+ for me. That was as good of an effort as I've seen from this team in 2 years. I not once thought they'd put together an effort like this last season. Not once. Not a game like this. And they won games. They won big games, but not like this. Everybody contributed. I'm sure we'll go down the list of who played well. But Sam, to your point, going down in the second quarter, I thought it was it. Because I've watched this team 100 times last season lose the same exact game the same exact way. The way they fought back, the guys that they fought back with, Kuminga, Moody, GP2, Chris Paul, Trey Jackson Davis, my guy, guys that they fought back with. It was, look, man, I'm not ready to say that this makes them this great team, but this is a team that is really different from last season. This is a winning basketball team's type of win. That's what this was.
Cider in the chat goes, give him an A+. Are you sure you're Asian? Fair question.
Look, man, these Warriors get a curve from me, all right? After what
Andy's second generation soft.
Yeah, that's true. Was that a comment? That was a good comment. Whoever said did you make that up? That's pretty good. You get Americanized, you get whitewashed a little bit. Now I'm just happy with these guys getting a win, So but no, they need Steph as much as they always need Steph, but that's always been the case. And this is not a game that they win last season, straight up. Whether they choke or lose by 20, not a game that they win.
No, not at all. And let's start at the top. A lot of things to get into, but you got to call it number 30. None of it really matters without him. 14 for 19, 7 for 10 from 3. No one could hit a shot for the first 23 minutes of the game. Kuminga hit a nice one at the end of the first half that kind of felt symbolic, like, hey, someone else hits a big shot finally. But, another game, Steph, 41 points. No one else breaks 20. And that's, you run out of things to say about him. Like, I know Jokic, finals MVP, two-time MVP, and people think he's the best player in the league. Giannis does his whole thing. But it's like, I can't look at those guys and look at Steph and say those guys are better than Steph. He's still, in my eyes, best player in the NBA.
Wow. Yeah.
At worst, he can hang with them,
At worst, he's the second best player in the NBA. I think it's pretty clear. Giannis has nothing on Steph.
It's like negligible. My point is,
sure.
He's as good as anyone on any given night, at any given moment. And tonight's one of those nights that shows it because, we're talking about how they went down in the first half and how they can't hit a shot. That's where he comes through. Like, he was the only offense they had going in the first half. In the third quarter, they finally got a couple other people going, but it is largely Steph save us until we can figure out something the whole way. Yep. And that to me is a sign of an MVP.
Yep. It was your classic, we've got nothing. Steph, go figure some shit out. He took the mid-range, which is something that he hasn't done as much in the last few years. But
Mhm.
I always feel like when he shoots that mid-range jump shot, that he takes that game very seriously. It's not a let me go put up 12 threes tonight, or let me try to get to the rim, or let me try to get people involved and get a bunch of assists. Nah, I feel like when Steph shoots the 15-footer, it's like, okay, this is my time. And that's what he did tonight. I thought that was great, and it gave the thing about when Steph goes off is it gives everyone else confidence to play their game, right? Chris Paul doesn't have to do more. Klay doesn't have to feel like he has to do more. Andrew Wiggins, same thing. Really, the stars of the show was Kuminga, Moody, GP2, and Chris Paul. To me, like those guys really, really were comfortable when Steph got it going. And that's what happens. Against the Suns, Steph didn't really have it going. And you saw what happens when other players have to play above their weight, right? And tonight, especially on the road, he just got it so that the other guys can get more confident. And those guys were incredible. The bench guys.
The best way to put it. By the way, if you want to call in, make sure you're logged into a playback account. Log in and press the hand button at the bottom. We are going to get to your calls in maybe 5 minutes, to be honest. 5-10 minutes. We'll get to you. So playback account, hit the hand button, call in. We'll get to everyone. Yep. On top of Steph, I want to give Looney a shout out. This is how you know Looney is a made man. We went pretty soft on him last game, even though he was pretty terrible. Like Nurkic kind of owned him last game, but because it's Looney, because he's generally the most underappreciated man in professional sports, I wasn't going to really criticize him. There was too many other big issues in that game.
Yes.
And, he's kind of had a subpar preseason, if I'm being honest. Like, I was just kind of whatever. But it's Looney. He's friend of the show, formerly friend of the show, by the way. And, maybe it's something about Sacramento because he looked phenomenal tonight. He looked like the Looney we saw in the playoffs, the player we know is capable of being. Sabonis has to have nightmares about him, is my take.
Sabonis is so, I don't want to call him soft, Sam, but he's so not built for
regular season.
Regular
season.
He's a regular season player, right? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, until he proves otherwise, I don't know if I can say anything. But Looney, and it wasn't just owning him on the glass. It was making the extra pass. A couple of the steals to get them into transition were pretty impressive. But, give Looney a shout out. And then the other thing I want to talk about is today was a game of what I thought the Warriors would look like. And I know it's game 2, and maybe opening night really was just an issue of they shot historically bad. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. 10 games will bear out if it was just like a, crappy one-night opener in like a shitty way to start the season. But their depth showed to me tonight. They look kind of like what I thought they would be, which is, they may only have one star, but they have 10 or 11 really good players. And that's kind of the way it played out. And let's start with Chris Paul a little bit here on this one.
Okay. Yep. That second unit offense that he runs, and he did this in maybe the conversation changes around game 1 if they pull that out at the end, because the same thing did happen in game 1.
Yeah.
That second unit offense is pretty sweet when you can put goons around Chris Paul and finishers. So you obviously put Saric, who's his guy. But if you can put Kuminga, Moody, and GP2, who are all great to good defenders and can stick a shot, and then you've got Kuminga, who's obviously grown up and is now getting to the rim with ease. Moody doesn't seem like he can miss, and then GP2 is an elite defender.
Yeah,
Sam, I feel like that's a pretty sweet 5-man.
I agree. It says here Moody was 4 for 5. I didn't realize Moody's missed a shot. I don't know, man. I don't know if Moody's missed a shot since the last regular season, honestly. He just feels so automatic. But yeah, to your point. And also on top of that, they played more minutes this game. Some of that's foul trouble, but Kuminga, 26 minutes, Moody, 21. More in line with what I thought I was going to see in the preseason. And again, it really could just be as simple as a couple dumb fouls, and it's a little easier, or a couple less dumb fouls. It's a little easier to play them, but dare I say strength of numbers? Dare I say a little strength of numbers for them?
Well, it's even more – it's even – when strength in numbers first came, it was very much these are bench guys. Sean Livingston is a bench guy. right?
Sure.
He's never going to start.
Barbosa.
Sometimes, yeah, right. Barbosa's never going to close. Maurice Spates, he's never going to close. He's never going to start. Samuel, I'm watching Kuminga right now. He's better than Andrew Wiggins. He's better than Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Moses Moody, Klay played way better in the second half. But you can argue that Klay played 33. Maybe he could have even played 29, right? And maybe Moses Moody jumps to 25. So I'm not saying I don't think Moody's better than Klay. But these guys, man, they might be closing more games than not throughout the rest of the season because this isn't strength in numbers that these guys are just bench players. This is strength in numbers in that Kuminga and Moody, they are coming for Wiggins and Klay and Klay's spot. You know what I'm saying? Wiggins played better tonight. He came out with more energy, but he does not have the juice right now. He doesn't go to the hole. End of the game, he's shooting pull-up mid-range jump shots when he has a clear lane. You know, it's just like, I'm good. Right? Fine. Right? So he'll get better, I'm sure. But, man, Kuminga and Moody are ready to play. They are ready to play, whereas some of these starters have not been.
Yeah, I like how you put it because like GP2 is a bench guy. GP2 is quintessential. Right. I'm coming in, I'm changing the energy, and I'm the best player in the league at my specific role type of guy. Moody and Kuminga, they might be getting 9-figure contracts in 2 years. They might be getting the Devin Vassell. Who else signed a contract recently? I can't think of anyone else. Might be getting those type of contracts and like starting money type contracts. Yeah. And it's still early, but I agree with you. Like if I was to talk about this Warriors team over 2 games, here's where I'm at. Point guard play is elite, particularly because Steph is the best in the league by a significant margin, and Chris Paul's, he's not what he once was, but he's the best backup point guard in the league. Like we can all agree on that front, right? And then Looney brought it back, and we haven't even talked about it, but Draymond potentially back Sunday against Houston. I feel like the Looney-Draymond combo, I feel confident that they have elite defensive anchor play once those guys get going. I love the depth, particularly the wing depth, Kuminga, GP, and Moody. But the starting wings, through a couple games and through preseason, I'm not loving what I'm seeing from Wiggins or Klay, honestly. And that could change over time, but right now that feels like maybe we took for granted that those guys would be who we wanted them to be, but so far that seems like the weak link on the team.
Yeah, that seems like it. And honestly, dude, if that's your weak link, I am gonna bet on Klay and Wiggins playing a lot better than this in the next week. It's just those guys have been proven very, very good basketball player. Klay got hot there at the end, hit some big jump shots, and Wiggins did play a lot better defense tonight. So I'm concerned, but wins, especially this one, they thoroughly dominated the entire second half. But that's not nothing. Just because they choked the last couple minutes and made this game kind of close, Sam, I'm willing to throw it away a little bit because when you dominate on the road a Kings team that is legitimately very good, when you dominate them for 24 minutes of a second half, that's not nothing. That's a real thing, and I am confident that the Warriors maybe are a very good basketball team. I have been concerned, but man, Moses Moody and Kuminga are better than I thought. They're better than I thought. Have they been better than you thought coming into the season? Better than they could be? Because that's for sure how it feels like to me.
You know me. I talk myself into circles over this sort of stuff. They are matching kind of my most optimistic lens of what they could be. They got drafted. I'm like, oh, Moses Moody, that guy is a shooter, glue guy, can do a little bit of everything.
That's a great pick.
And through 2 years, it's been up and down. He's had his moments, but I think you and I both would agree we thought he'd play more than he did through 2 years. And maybe it's fair, maybe it's not, but like, you're hoping. He looks every bit that player right now. And then Jonathan Kuminga, that's my guy. I watch him. I get so excited over what I see, and it's been consistent to this point. And, tonight and really to start the season, he's looked quite good, and he's looked every bit the player I thought he could be the entire season.
Yep. Sam, I don't know what you're doing, but we got like everybody that's on request on. We might have to boot all these guys and get them on when we're getting to the goons. I don't know what's going on over there.
I didn't do the inviting.
Okay, that's weird. So I appreciate the goons. They know what's up. Do you want to get there? Do you want to get there? Or we want to go a couple more topics beforehand.
I say we take it to the goons. I ask everyone to clear the stage, and we go one by one.
Okay.
How's that sound, guys?
Sweet. Before we get to the goons, you know what's gonna happen. Samuel, the NBA season is here, which means everybody in here, all 500 people, 300, which means you now have a chance to 100x your cash on daily fantasy basketball. Basketball has never been more exciting than it is now with players like Steph, LeBron, De'Aaron Fox, who we saw tonight, who's an NBA playoff vet performer. Pick more or less on stats for these stars.
Player,
man, he is incredible, right? Curry brand guy. I mean, he just gets it. He just knows hoop. And you can do this for all these guys. You can pick more or less on stats for these stars, like points, rebounds, three-pointer, steals, double-doubles, and more for up to 100x payout on Sleeper. If you did that for Steph and De'Aaron, you're getting money tonight. If you get your picks right, you could win big. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Let's go to the goons.
To the goons. I see our guy Luke up here first. I'm going to let Luke speak first. Oh, I missed you, brother. How you doing?
Perfect. Hell yeah. Let's go. You're muted, brother. He's just talking. Luke, you're muted.
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah,
you got me?
You're good now. You're good now.
Sorry, I'll put my hand up. That was my fault with the room. I jumped in the room and I thought that was you talking to me, so that's my fault. It's not you, Sammy. It was my fault. Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah. How you going? All right?
We're good.
Yeah, all right. Sweet.
You enjoyed that one?
I did. I was trying to watch it with my two kids here, and it was pretty fucking daunting, but that's all right. It's all good. So I was pretty happy. I was going to just jump on and ask you, Andy, who do you reckon loves each other more? Steve Kerr loves Chris Paul, or your fiance? What do you reckon? Huh?
Nobody loves someone more than Steve Kerr loves Chris Paul.
How rock hard was he with Chris Paul?
They are both. I'll give you this one. They are both in the honeymoon phase.
Seriously, just give Steph the ball in the last 3 minutes. How hard is it? Like fair income. But honestly, do you agree, Sammy? Shouldn't have Kuminga been in 2 minutes before that, and the game would have been put away?
Yeah, it's easier to be a little critical when they're up.
Yeah,
they're up in that stretch. They got a little tight there, but they pulled it out. I'll give them that. I prefer them working through it in this type of situation than the alternative where they're working through it and they throw a game away. They needed that one. I do agree with you. I hope this doesn't become a trend where in crunch time they're like put the ball in Chris Paul's hands like it's 1998 or something and let him take it home. It's like, come on, figure it out.
And also too, shout out with that pod with MT. He's been spot on too. It's not going to just be spot minutes with Moody either, mate. Like he's making big plays. I think he made the play of the game in that first half. And when they made that stupid turnover and Kerr was ready to bloody snap their heads off, and Moody turned the ball back over and actually saved them 2 points. That was actually pretty big in the end because he's just making outside of the hustle plays. Now he's making those spot up threes. Like he's actually like pump faking and shooting. Like he's unreal. Like I think he's got to be a mainstay in the rotation here. I don't know what you boys think, but I think he's more than just to throw the guy in case of an emergency. I think he's putting some real heat on Klay. And shout out to Klay too in the second half. He actually bounced back. Like
yes, sir.
He was doing. I saw you on the timeline, Andy. He was doing dumb shit in the first half, doing these fucking Kobe fadeaway like 2-pointers with fucking 20 seconds on the clock. I'm like, mate, relax, dude, relax. I passed the ball. And then in the second half, made that right play to Kuminga and he was all good. So I know you got a lot of people lined up, but I'm here, boys. So take it easy, huh?
That's love. Appreciate you, Luke. Appreciate the call. Fuck yes, man. I missed you. That was unbelievable.
I also agree. Like the thing that's gonna be interesting is Moody should play more, but in place of who, and that's a good problem to have. Like we're obviously going to get annoyed if he doesn't play enough when he's playing well, like maybe game one. But that's something we're going to have to monitor the whole way through.
Sir.
We got a quote from Steve Kerr here. I want to play this before we get to the next goon.
Let's roll.
Moody has been fantastic. I mean, he's so confident.
A T-shirt.
And making smart decisions, good plays. He had 3 steals. Really, really proud of Moses. I mean, he's had a great camp. Coach JK, third year, it feels like both guys are really playing with a lot of confidence.
Were you looking for a place to get Trace in? I know some of it was Dario got 4 fouls, but have you been kind of searching for a place to drop him in again?
Yeah, we like what Trace can give us because it's a different look. The lob threat, the verticality at the rim, good rim protection, very smart player, doesn't make mistakes. So with the foul trouble, with Dario, and then we wanted to give Loon some rest, so to get ready for the fourth. So it felt like a good place to give him some time.
We didn't even mention Trace Jackson Davis, who, the type of rookie maybe you and I have been calling for the last couple of years. It's like he's a little older, but he's ready. He's ready to go. Like he's 2 to 3 years older than Moody and Kuminga. And the only thing stopping me from talking about him is like, I don't know where he gets minutes on the regular.
I love him. I love him. My good buddy texted me. It was like, who do you think is going to get minutes that, maybe we think isn't getting him right now? And I was just like, dude, it's Trace Jackson Davis. And literally 2 minutes later, TJD comes in and a couple blocks and just smart plays and roll into the rim. And, he's not going to be a superstar because he's not big. He can't really shoot, right? But, man, he's going to be a very – 30. He doesn't got the Kevon Looney crossover. We didn't talk about that. He don't got the Looney crossover, but he's going to be an NBA player for 10 years. As long as he can play, he's going to be a legit NBA 4, 5, probably a 5, and hopefully he's on this team because he's good enough to play right now. He's for sure good enough to play 10 minutes right now. But like you said, who's he going to play for? And then Draymond's coming back, so he's for sure going to sit on the bench. But it's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
By the way, do you know who got another DNP tonight?
Pods. My guy Pajemski.
From the comment section, James Wiseman did not play tonight. Game 2 of the Detroit Pistons.
Anytime you say James Wiseman's name, some dude who claims he averaged 15 in high school come into your mentions. That's exactly what happens. All right, keep moving. My guy Antoine, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm inviting you on stage. Come up.
Neil, who I'm playing this weekend's our Sleeper Fantasy League, has Wiseman on his team, by the way. Shout out, Neil.
Neil, I hope you didn't start him. By the way, the locked-in format, I kind of like it.
I love it.
It's exactly what I want because you and I, to our point, you and I play with a bunch of Farhan Zadis who are just looking at the wire, trying to get extra game advantages, and it's not fun. I need best versus best. I need to not be thinking about who's on the wire at 5:55 in the morning.
Antoine, sir, hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
What's up, guys? I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Sam, I think the last time I really chatted with you, you just had your kid. So how's toddler life? Mm-hmm. I'll take that one off the air. But
take it in there.
I'm asking for advice because it's going to be me soon. So,
congrats! Congratulations,
man!
Thanks, man. I wanted to say congrats to Andy too on the engagement.
Thank you, sir.
But I wanted to talk about. I love how the Warriors played today, but still, with Chris Paul, it is probably partially just my Chris Paul bias. But when games matter, how is this going to work? We're expecting some of the younger players to make jumps, get experience when games start to matter, and then hopefully Steve trusts them and then leaves them in. But do you think that eventually you'll start seeing the more Spurs like minute dispersion later on, to where they're going to have to play some bigger people when games matter, and they're going to have to play some better defense once teams are game planning for them, and you have Steph, Klay, and Chris Paul out there. Lots of ways to attack that group, and we still haven't seen this group with Draymond out there, and he's going to clean up some stuff though. But what do you guys think when the games start mattering a lot? Is it going to look kind of like this, or how's it going to evolve later? Just what do you guys think as a prediction what Steve's going to kind of figure out?
I predict Steve will make us pull our hair out a couple times before we get there. That much I feel very confident in, because I do agree with you. By the time they get to the playoffs, it does have to be a no egos. Chris, some games you're going to be on the bench more than you want, because we just can't have 4 dudes the size of like you, me, and Andy on the floor. Really, like honestly, that sort of thing. But it does feel like he's making a concerted effort to make Chris Paul feel a part of the group. And like, let's be honest, as much as he's been a Warrior villain all these years and annoying as he is, he's helped them. He is a good player. He does do positive things. So it feels like one of those things where, there's going to be times during the year where the minute distribution isn't where we want it, but hopefully they get where we want them to.
I think actually Steve is in a pretty tough position. I know I'm always criticizing, but whatever. That's what we do. Podcast to do, man. And what else are we going to talk about? But he has a hard job. I mean, you're not always going to be the difference in impact between like Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga on a given night probably is negligible. And you're not always going to press the right buttons. I do think it's hard, but I do think that is where this stuff is going to lie. It's going to be Draymond and Chris Paul. So if you're going to have a guy that, hey, look, thumbs up. If you're going to have a guy that can also secondary play like Draymond, do you need Chris Paul? And then the other one is Kuminga and Wiggins. If Wiggins is going to be zonked out and not rebounding and not going to the rim and shooting ugly-ass threes, then what's the point, right? And so I think those are the big ones, man. I don't think Moody's going to take too much. Like, he's not going to close games for Klay, and Steph's going to close, and, Loon's going to close some. You know how that's going to go. But I think the big ones are going to be Draymond and Chris Paul in terms of offensive playmaking, and then Kuminga and Wiggins. Man, Kuminga and Wiggins is starting to look like even if Wiggins plays better.
One of these days we'll see the two of them play together. I'm still waiting for that lineup, but
that's an old school Warriors, like, let's get some wings out there lineup, right? Kuminga and Wiggins. It's just that neither of them have Andre Iguodala IQ, so it's really hard to.
Yeah.
Right?
I was gonna say, I don't think it's the defensive side that's keeping them off the floor. It's Steve not trusting one of them to.
I don't either.
Be more of a playmaker. Antoine, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Congrats again.
Yes,
Congrats again. Let's connect offline. All right. Let's keep moving. What else we got?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people today. Let's roll.
Got Giosa coming up here to be a doomer.
Nah, last time he said he believed. I remember.
I mean, I did believe. I mean, I think I still do. Like, I still think this is a pretty deep team. Generally, I mean, like, I enjoyed Moody's minutes. I enjoyed JK's minutes. I think we're deep, and I think I think Steve Kerr has like a tough job for the next like couple of months, because like it's all like ego management, like going forward. Because I think JK is good enough. I think Moody is good enough. Like, but I still think that the Dre CP thing might be a bit weird. Like, I don't know. Like, if he closes. Is like, do you need CP next to Draymond and closing games? Like, do you need him?
Let's see it before we criticize it. I will say this: the Warriors iconically made a lineup of Draymond, Iguodala, and Looney, 3 guys who want nothing to do with shooting the ball, closing the lineup together. So I'm not saying it's ideal, because Chris Paul's 5'9". And Draymond's 6'5", and they're all undersized. And obviously, I'm exaggerating for effect, but it could work offensively. I think it could work better than you think. Defensively, it's a question mark, though.
Yeah, I mean, I also think like I really hope Klay gets like I don't know, like his rhythm back because it's a bit weird and it's a bit sad. Also, I hope he's not like mentally like off or something. Because Moody looked good tonight, and I like Moody on the weak side playing defense. And Klay,
Yeah.
that's my take.
Giosa, appreciate you. I will say this is how I know Clay's in his head, and he took 12 shots and only 4 were threes. And to his credit, he played better in the second half, but it was a lot of I'm just going to search for a comfortable mid-range shot instead of trying to force the issue, which is how I know he knows he's shooting it poorly.
I agree. I 1000% agree with you. And that's what makes you a little bit more hopeful is that he wasn't really forcing shots in the second half tonight. Yeah. From the comments from Dan, that pass to JK at the end of the first half, that was growth. I mean, it was an unbelievable pass. Mm-hmm. Look, it's a pretty standard extra pass to a guy in the corner, but I'm not mad at Klay if he shoots an open above the break three. That probably has the same percentage of going in as a Jonathan Kuminga baseline three, right? But Jonathan Kuminga has been shooting so well from the 3-point line that you give him that look, he cans it. I think it's huge. So to what you're saying is he is trying to play within the flow. I was a little worried that maybe the contract stuff is getting to him, but Marcus made a point that, you know, he has matured a lot through the years, and he has. He's not always going to have the greatest body language, but that's who he is. And I thought he did play a lot better in the second half. I thought he did. Played a lot better.
I think there's two separate comments. What do you think he's worth relative to the player you think he'll be for the next 4 years? That's tough. That's a very tough conversation for the front office to have because he's had the injuries and he's aging, and these are real factors they have to consider. The second conversation is he willing to be a team guy? And I never bought he was not willing to. I always thought that, okay, so he's frustrated. Dude, he's one of the best players of this generation and one of the best playoff players of my entire lifetime. You expect him to be happy he can't perform at the level he wants to? Come on. He's got pride. He wants to play better. But at no point did I ever suspect he was going to be an issue in terms of ego. He's always been a guy who's tried to play the right way. And, you know, he was searching for it tonight, but it's Klay, man. Like, if the days of Game 6 Klay are gone, I don't expect him not to be able to adjust to the fact that maybe he's more of a role player now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
I just believe too much in who he is as a player. That doesn't mean he's going to get there overnight. And I'm not even saying he needs to get there or he is that guy right now. But I don't think he's Carmelo Anthony. I don't think he's Allen Iverson, where it's just like,
those are really bad. Like those
are
right.
Dudes who couldn't accept that they weren't stars, and they'd rather not be in the league than adapt to who they are. I think Klay will adapt to who he is, and you know, give him a little space. It might it takes more than a game to figure it out sometimes.
Sure. I always thought maybe Draymond, it'd be tough for him to figure that out, and we'll see. I mean, we haven't seen Draymond yet this season, but I think sneaky was always going to be Klay may have a hard time having his fall from grace, and maybe you're right. I think I'm a little more pessimistic than you. I think I'm a little more wary of what he's going to be moving forward, but tonight was not a night to talk about that. Tonight is not a night to say I should be pessimistic because he did look like he is. He looks way more comfortable tonight versus Tuesday.
And to be clear, like it's an evolving thing, but I don't know. It's Klay. Yeah, he's got an ego. Yeah, he's got pride, but he touches grass. He'll get where he needs to get. You know what I mean?
Only shot 4 threes tonight is a little shocking, but
no. To your point, I got one quote from. I got one quote from friend of the show, Chris Paul.
You would be seeing him going on one of those flurries and like fist pumping, like yes.
Nah. I mean, like I said, I hadn't seen him before, and gave a few dams and all that, you know what I mean? But we all on the same side now, so it's really dope to be on the side of when you drive and the guys don't want to help and you getting wide open layups. And it's fun for a guy like me that passes the ball. And I mean, when Klay coming off, every time he shoot it, I think it's going in. So playing with those guys makes the game a lot easier.
It's funny. Second time he said it, it's like it's the most open the court's ever been for me because people are more afraid of my shooters than me. I don't know. I this is where my softness comes out. I appreciate him trying to accept that this is normal. That it's like not weird that he's on the Warriors, and he's doing a good job and it's helping the team.
Chris Paul's layups are hilarious. He's lost.
Those looks would look better 5 years ago.
Yeah, he's lost so much burst out there, and he's actually, dude, he's actually a really athletic point guard, and he's been throughout most of his career. But you can tell he's lost pretty much like 80% of it. But he still got to the hole tonight. He was finishing. He was in the mid ranger. I think it's 3, and I know people that watched Chris Paul a lot last year said he kind of lost the 3-point shot, so didn't make any tonight. I think it's a little concerning as he just doesn't have legs, because I know Chris Paul's a great shooter, so I'm not sure why the 3 ball is not going in, but it'll be interesting to monitor. But man, he makes some great decisions with that second unit. He gets Klay that 3-point shot. It's probably the only people on this team that passes Klay that ball is probably Steph and Draymond. Iguodala used to get him that ball, but nobody else is, right? So it's nice to have another guy that can run with that second unit and get guys shots. So they're just so much more comfortable with Steph on the bench. I know the first half they were -8 or something without Steph on the floor, but they're just so much more comfortable when Chris Paul's out there with those guys. It just makes the game so much easier to watch. I'm not losing my fucking mind.
It's like you think about like the Wanamakers and there's been so many terrible lineups over the years without Steph, and that's not this. Like it's not prime Chris Paul, but like 2023 Chris Paul, Moody, GP2, Kuminga, Saric, like that is a professional second unit. They can get through a lot of lineup combinations. That works. By the way, you notice who didn't play tonight? Corey Joseph.
I was just gonna say if Chris Paul was on this team, Corey Joseph is playing those minutes, and I think we're screaming about Kojo every other game if that's the case, right? So,
my man, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? Well, I was just gonna say that also about 2 things that Annie just mentioned. One, Corey Joseph that didn't play, and the other one was Chris Paul not being able to hit a 3. I don't know. He can still get to the elbow. He can still get to the basket. You saw what he did to Nurkic last on the opening night. Okay, but the only if you look at the box score, you put it up there a lot, Sam. The only one that didn't fill it up might have been Saric, but I'm not that worried because Draymond's coming. And Saric might be able to play with Draymond at the 4 and Draymond at the 5, and that would help a lot. And I hope when Draymond comes, there's another ball handler, and they stop playing the 3-guard lineup. Get Chris Paul with the backups, that Moody, Kuminga, Klay, and Saric, or Klay and Trace Jackson Davis, okay, and split up those minutes. Get the ball on Steph's hands. That at the end was crazy. Steph didn't get the ball, and they were turning the ball over or not getting any good looks. But it was a great game. Other than those like 4 straight turnovers at the end, that stressed us all out, okay. But other than that, would have been a trashing. So good way to start.
Oh yeah. Oh, we lost him. I was gonna go. He mentioned Dario Saric. Any thoughts on his minutes tonight, Andy? To me, it was more of just like I think he's going to be a mainstay of the rotation, but there's going to be some nights where matchups his minutes are a little just less.
He's really bad defensively. Really, really, really bad. And you know I love Dario Saric. Actually, I think that's why Trace Jackson-Davis probably played a little bit. But, man, those are tough. I thought Bjelica, you could get away with Bjelica playing some minutes. I think Saric is a much better offensive player, though he hasn't really shown it yet, but I think it's there.
Poor shooting to start the season for sure.
Yeah, but you can tell he can shoot, right? Like, it's pretty obvious that he can shoot. It's just I think he's missing a couple. He can't finish at the rim. But, it's 2 games. I always – Vetman guy, right? He has good chemistry with Chris Paul. I don't mind it. Certainly seems more like a Bjelica type than he will be closer to the Otto type. I know we use those as comparisons a lot. Otto's kind of an outlier. But Sarge is definitely more of like he's going to be a regular season guy more than he is a playoff player. But the Warriors need to bank regular season wins. So they're going to need him to play. He only played 14 minutes tonight. Some of it was foul trouble, bad defense, but I'm sure he'll
20 the first game, 14 the second, making about 17-ish. On average, which is probably what that's probably what's going to be with him. Some games it'll be 21, 22. Some games it'll be, 12 to 15 is what it is.
He'll be very good against the Houston Rockets on Sunday. Like that. That's just we know.
You
that.
See what Şengün did tonight? Relax. Nah, I hear you.
That's a bad team there. But he'll have fun against those guys. But okay, what do we got?
I'm buying the Houston Rockets resurgence.
You gotta stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
They did lose to the Spurs tonight, and Wemby did have some Wemby moments. Matthew, how's it going, man? Hear us?
You are muted, perhaps.
Yeah,
Matthew's always got good audio.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, cool.
How's it going?
Beautiful.
That's good. How you doing?
Not bad. I still got to get used to cheering when CP3 does CP3. Like when he kicks the ball out of bounds, but gets it to be out on Sabonis. I'm like, oh, yeah, this used to piss me off, but it's nice not being pissed off by it anymore.
Facts.
I gotta say though, I actually think that I think Kerr's growing. Like starting at the fourth quarter of the last game where he actually had Kuminga in over Wiggins, because I remember I was texting a friend. I was like, oh yeah, Kuminga's playing better than Wiggins, but Kerr's gonna still have Wiggins finishing over Kuminga because of culture,
politics.
And I was like, wait a second, he's actually closing with Kuminga. And then in this game, he actually had Trace Jackson-Davis playing when Saric had foul trouble instead of Corey Joseph for some reason, because he likes vets. So, I got to say, I actually think, like, I obviously he still could have loosened the reins a little bit more, but I think that he's actually starting to say, okay, let's actually play players that are on the right side of 30. And also, I'm trying to think like whose minutes Green is going to push when he comes back. And like looking at the players that played, the more I look at it, the more I kind of think maybe I want him to push Dario Saric's minutes down out of anyone. Because I just don't see who else I actually want him playing over. Or, I mean, obviously, you want him playing over other people, but it's like...
I would think 5 minutes... At least 5 minutes off Chris Paul.
Looney. Yeah, that's true.
5 minutes off Looney, that's 10.
Yeah.
Maybe
GP2.
A couple minutes off GP.
Yeah.
Trace and
Wipe
Saric
those away.
Minutes. So, it's going to be tough. Like, now that you're mentioning it, thinking about it, I can guarantee you I'm going to be annoyed when Moody or Kuminga get like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
In one of the next 2 games.
That's the worry. But hey, I'm feeling good about the season. I got a new job.
Hey,
everything.
New baby! Congratulations!
Yeah.
That should go first. But
that's true. That's true. But I'm just going in order of recency. I started a new job this week, and then my baby was born before that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right. Cheers,
Have a good one, man. Have a good one.
Damn, the Lightyears goons are just churning out the babies, and look at us, man. Look at us.
We're getting old, man.
Maybe I'll be next.
No, don't do it.
Oh, I'm almost insulted by you guys doubting everyone to be respectful to start the podcast. It's like, geez, everyone is being hell mature these days. Like, I now see why.
Yeah. Everyone's like,
what's up, man? What's up, Tashan?
So nothing much. This is, like I said, best bench in the league. The only bench that might be surprising is maybe Denver's, if their defense with their new bench identity is actually real, which is to be determined. But anyway, I think your point about who is Draymond's going to be pushing out in terms of minutes, I think Sam brought it up earlier before the season. It's probably unfortunately going to be GP2 because unless we just want to just decrease Moody's minutes to like 0, which I don't want to see because Moody has taken the leap. Joku has taken the leap. And I'm going to give Wiggins 15 games before I have to start the slander Wiggins campaign again because he is definitely missing Draymond for sure. I think he is the one that is missing a lot of his playmaking at the forward position a lot more. And to be fair, no one can really do that what Draymond can do unless we develop Jonathan Kuminga. And so we get a lot of minutes crunch. But hey, that's a good thing to have when you got such a deep bench. Ty was a year too early about we are recklessly deep. That is my main takeaway. So he should have saved that bullet for this year, but hey, he had to learn the hard way that Wiseman and Poole are just not ready for this yet.
Yeah. I appreciate you, brother. Have a great evening.
Take it easy.
Yeah, I like his point that Wiggins needs Draymond. Like that one.
Yes.
Had not thought about that one. Really like that one.
Factual statement.
Someone needs to bring the dog back out of Wiggins. We know he has it, but boy's playing like a fucking...
Bernardo, by the way, our guy Nate Duncan had the best statement on Wiggins, and I'll pull it up at some point. But Bernardo, how you doing?
Hello. Long time no see. One thing that I was thinking about today watching this game is, I don't know if you guys remember, but you remember 2012, 2013, 2014 Spurs with Ginobili commanding the second unit. It reminded me of Chris Paul today in the third quarter. Like, you have a superstar level talent that can't do it for 48 minutes anymore, but is still a offensive genius that makes things work in the second unit. Of course, Ginobili and Paul do it in different ways, but like I think it reminded me of that. And the second thing, what?
I like that one. People always compare
yeah.
Klay to Ginobili, and it don't make sense to me because Klay can't dribble, and Ginobili.
Yeah, Ginobili's
no similarity in the
totally
play
different.
style.
Totally different. Yeah, like the Chris Paul one.
Ginobili's a genius level passer. Like Klay fits so well with Steph, and Ginobili had the opposite problem with Parker. So I don't think it's. But and the other thing that I wanted to say before I get out of here is, my mental health is going to be so much more healthy this year with Chris Paul instead of Jordan Poole. I was doing the math. Like, Chris Paul has 21 assists and 4 steals and 3 turnovers through 2 games this season.
Wow!
Like, it's just a different universe in terms of like basketball IQ and just professionalism on the court. And I know in some games we might miss the explosiveness of Poole scoring, but for like 80% of the time, Chris Paul is just in another level as a basketball player, in my opinion, still. And yeah, that's it.
Bernardo, appreciate you. I agree also, just because when you have guys like Kuminga who are just so explosive athletically, and you got Moody who's, on the verge as a shooter and everything, having someone who's a little more cerebral instead of just like looking for their own shot, it does benefit. Mugs in the comments, the perfect. Poole is a hooper. CP3 is a basketball player. Oh, that's perfect.
Can't argue with that one.
I want to give a shout out. This tweet stuck in my mind for 2 years, but this sums up Draymond and Wiggins. From front of the show, Nate Duncan, he goes, Wiggins has replaced JaVale as the guy Draymond uses the controller on, talking about how Draymond's just yelling at Wiggins to do stuff at all times. Accurate. All right. We're going to end it here. We're going to get our guy, McWalters, up here.
Oh, I was going to say, we're not ending it without McWalties. All right.
Come on, man. I'm not...
Got to be scared for a second,
Yo, what's going on, guys?
What's up, brother?
Hanging in there.
Hey, this was a much Much better game. Much better game. 8 out of 10. Much better game. Still not great that we let that 14-0 run happen in the first half.
Just a 7 to 8. I was gonna give it like an 8.5.
Nah. First half. Half we played around with our food. Fourth quarter we definitely played around with our food. I mean, the lack of seriousness in both the second and fourth quarter was disturbing. And there's a theme I see running here, and that is if you can't beat them, join them. Hey, welcome to Curry Brand, Mr. Fox, because you definitely can't beat us. I don't care how amazing you are tonight. Your team is just not good enough. And we still own the Bay Area, so sorry, Kings fans. You can go ahead and light yourself up over that one. But that it just backs. And it was nice to see Kuminga play well. It was nice to see Trayce Jackson-Davis out there. I think you're right. Where are the Dre minutes? Cut back Looney. CP3 shouldn't be in the early 30, 33, 34 range. That's way. I mean, he won't have it. We didn't think he had legs tonight. He'll have no legs in April and May, June if we're lucky. If we're playing him like this. I mean, that's where Dre's minutes have to come. And he looked good with the second unit. When he was running that second unit, we actually kept that score. We battled back in that awful. When I was talking about an awful second, we battled back with that second unit with Chris Paul leading it. That's where Chris Paul needs to be. So there's Dre's minutes. Dre's minutes are with the stars, and Chris Paul's are with the second unit. That's where it should be. And same with the closing lineup. We can already see that we can play Kuminga in the closing lineup, and we don't need to have CP3 out there. We can have him guarding a guard for someone if we need to, or just play it based on who the matchups are, right? And I think there's going to be a lot of nights upcoming. We have this pitiful team in the Rockets who couldn't even really hang with the Spurs.
No Şengün slander. He's about to win the fantasy matchup.
Unbelievable. Just
Şengün slander. What am I talking about? I mean, can he guard? Can he guard Wemby, or was he
defense
just
doesn't matter in fantasy.
Oh, my bad. You get blocks, yeah.
They have a chance. The Warriors got a chance here to get a little momentum going, especially on the road. That's for sure.
Yeah, we got the Rockets, we got the Pelicans. I don't know what to make of them yet. Yeah. It's
on a back-to-back too, and that's why do we always get the back-to-back in New Orleans?
I feel bad for New Orleans. That's the real problem, is that they haven't seen. I mean, I feel that bad. I don't give a shit, but it's rough, right? They don't get to watch Steph.
It's like one of those platitudes you say, then you forget about it. You're like, I feel so bad for them. Then you go make a piece of toast for yourself. You don't really care that much.
And I get the schedule because Houston and New Orleans are right by each other. Like, I get why we're doing this back-to-back trip, but to then send them back home and send them back to Oklahoma, which is right by where they just were, is just completely insane, right?
You're right.
Who's drawing up this schedule? Do they not use Kayak or some other modern tool like Google Maps? Or are they on Alta Vista or some bullshit?
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
But I'm okay with it, because if you look at their schedule, once we get past this little schedule blip, it's actually quite favorable. They don't have to leave the Pacific time zone for 2 months.
I hear
kidding.
you on that. And it's great for Dre, because this means Draymond can sit this out this week, road trip out. We come back home. That'll probably be his first game against the Kings when we're back home. And then
you really don't? I think
he'll come back.
I think he's playing this weekend. I think he is.
Well, maybe he'll play the second game. Maybe we'll have him in that New Orleans game. We'll save his legs. Or maybe we play him in the first. Why would we play him in the first one against the Rockets? The Rockets are a disgrace to basketball right now. Why would we play him there?
Bank a win.
Oh, that's fair. Bank a win. Okay, fair enough.
No,
I have.
Who knows?
I'm a little skeptical after last year's early road trip. I don't want to take anything for granted, McWalters.
I know. That's why we had the point guard. I watched them go to
Charlotte and Detroit and take L's. I can't have that. Draymond, get in uniform.
We have adults on this team now.
This is at minimum at least a series team.
Yeah.
They took this game serious. And look, man, they went down by 11 in the second quarter, but you watched the first 6 minutes. They came out ready to play basketball, right? They didn't on Tuesday for whatever reason, but they came out
and
ready.
They got punched in the mouth a little bit there. Yeah. They're beginning of the second quarter, I'm like, do they suck? Is this like I was
I had the same thoughts, but Kerr, like Matthew said earlier, Kerr learned.
Every
he didn't turn to Klay Joseph.
Every person I know is a secret Warriors hater. Was just going off on my phone. It was like, I told you this team sucked. They only have 2 good players. It's Steph and Looney. They're all like, I'm getting those type of texts. And instead of replying, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get myself a snack. It's not time. I can't be getting into it in the second quarter on October 22nd. And you know what? That's maturity. Restraint won. We won the whole way through. I won't name names. Maybe I will later on.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I've got bombing in on the call, so it's all good. Now we've got characters coming in here. We Super Saiyan did it up tonight, so it's all to the good. But hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it. Let's knock out 2 on the road.
Yes, sir. You're always welcome. Great evening, sir. Andy, I think it's time for us. Let's go.
I will see you Sunday. See y'all Sunday.
Actually, I might see you.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
I will be nothing because I have never worn a costume in my life, Sam, and I'm a party pooper. That's why.
Oh, this is so disappointing.
I know. What are you going to be?
You'll see.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, Lisa's coming. Oh, he hangs up. All right, y'all.